Alright, first off, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahawah, bahasham, bahasham, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Shalom to the brothers in the highways and byways pushing this word now, sincerity and truth. The sisters, the believers, the helps, the hopeful elect. Shalom. This is the brother Arawam from the JMS Jamaica camp, coming to another quick lesson. And this lesson, is an admonition, first myself first and foremost, and onto the hopeful elect, whether it's the brothers in the Akiyamuwa, Akawath, because it's based on the spirit of pride. And as we all know, in Proverbs it states that pride goeth before a fall, right? And the admonition that I want to give to us is that we be careful of making a name for ourselves. Doing these lessons, we have seen, men who have, starting with the apostles and elders, of course, on down, who have been of men of good report. There are men that we, see as good examples. And we have seen men, through the spirit and power of Yahawashi, who have, grown in the spirit, and, they have titles, example, on earth right now we have the apostles and elders, and various other brothers who have, gotten the title of bishop and elders, right? And yes, while it is, a commendable thing, and it's good to have, earthly examples, in which, we are followers of them as they are followers of Yahawashi, and it's good to want to grow in the spirit. We just have to pray for the spirit that it's not, tangled with pride, or even if we should be lifted up, that pride don't overtake us. All right, and I'm just going to give a few examples, or an example from the scriptures, because in the times that are ahead, brothers are about to start receiving spiritual power. Men are going to start, we're going to start healing men, or healing people. We're going to start to get that power. There are great things which are going to be done on the earth, and some of these things are going to be done, through brothers. An example that comes to mind is in the book of Acts, where that Jew, that was among the Gentiles, started to cast out demons in the name of Yahawashi, and the demons pretty much, conquered him. They beat the hell out of him, strip him down, and, sent him away ashamed, right? And, a part of trying to get a name for yourself, as you will see through these, what I'm about to bring out, is the fact that, men doing their own thing, men not following order through the spirit. That's something that we want to pray that we stay in order, and just be humble, accept your lot, and fulfill your lot to the best of your ability. Not everybody's going to be Apostle Tahar, not everyone is going to be Apostle Gabar, not everyone is going to be Apostle Raimlab, Apostle Raka, so on and so forth. Not everybody is going to be that guy, but at the end of the day, it's not about being that guy. It's not about making a name for ourselves. It's about exalting and proclaiming, and honoring and giving praises to the names of Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi. That's what it's about. It's not about us. And most times when you see men fall out the fold of Great Millstone, 9 times out of 10, it's an issue with order. Everybody wants to come with a super deep breakdown, or everybody has their own way of how things are supposed to be. So let me just get straight into it. Hopefully you are edified. This is First Maccabees 5, and I'll start at verse 9. This that I'm about to read, after the Maccabees started to take down, when they built back the temple, the Israelites that were dwelling among the heathen, started to be, persecuted by the heathen, and John started to conquer them, right? And they was going to places to rescue some of these Israelites. Now this is one such place that was asking for aid. So this is First Maccabees 5 verse 9. It says, "Then the heathen that were at Galad assembled themselves together against the Israelites that were in their quarters to destroy them, but they fled to the fortress of Dathema, and sent letters unto Judas, right, and his brethren, the heathen that are around about us are assembled together against us to destroy us. And they are preparing to come and take the fortress whereunto we are fled, Timotheus being captain of their hosts. Come now therefore and deliver us from their hands, for many of us are slain. Right? Yea, all our brethren that were in the places of Tobi are put to death, their wives and their children also they have carried away captives and borne away their stuff, and they have destroyed there about 1,000 men." So pretty much when they started to, build back the altar and refuse, the decree of Antiochus Epiphanes, which was pretty much to turn from Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, right? And they saw that a resistance was made, and the principles and the laws and the altars were rebuilt and everything. They started to turn against Israel, right? Verse 14 says, "While these letters were yet reading, behold, there came another messenger from Galilee with their clothes rent, who reported on this wise, and said, They of Ptolemais and of Tyrus and of Zidon and all Galilee of the Gentiles are assembled together against us to consume us." Now when Judas and the people heard these words, they assembled a great congregation together to consult what they should do for their brethren that were in trouble and assaulted of them. Then said Judas unto Simeon his brother, "Choose thee out men, and go and deliver thy brethren that are in Galilee, for I and Jonathan my brother will go into the country of Galad." So he left Joseph the son of Zacharias and Azarias, captains of the people, with the remnant of the host in Judah to keep it. Which actually goes back to what, he left them to guard those that were already there, those that were safe. And unto them unto whom he gave commandments, saying, "Take heed the charge of this people, and see that ye make not war against the heathen until the time that we come again." Right? And this is the key part. So, two different, groups were in trouble. So, he pretty much split the camp or the congregation in three, his army in three. So, one was to go to Galad, one set was to go to Galilee, and he left some men to guard and to keep those that were there and safe. And he told them what? Don't make war with the heathen, because guess what? He didn't want any trouble on any of these fronts, which is logical. And that was actually, a good lot. That should have been, an honorable thing. When you think about it, that should have been an honorable thing. They should have seen the importance of that role of, ensuring that you don't stir up any trouble or cause any more trouble that is necessary. Because for one, the army is already split, and for two, it's about keeping everyone safe. The less trouble at this point would be best. So seeing that this is a peaceful area, or these people are good, you just want to maintain that peace. You want to maintain that level of stability, so that everyone is okay pretty much. Thinking about the whole more than thinking of yourself. But guess what? These men wanted to get a name for themselves. They got pride. They got proudful, or they were full of pride. And they pretty much were selfish. They were full of pride and they're selfish, as I'm about to read. Right? So jump into verse 56, because the rest of the chapter goes into, how each group delivered the other, right? And you can just read through that for yourself. Now, verse 55 says, Know what time as Judah and Jonathan were in the land of Galaad, and Simon his brother in Galilee before Ptolemais, Joseph the son of Zacharias, which are the same men that they left in charge, to keep the peace, and Azarias, captains of the garrisons, heard of the valiant acts and warlike deeds which they had done. Wherefore they said, Let us also get us a name, and go fight against the heathen that are round about us. What was the commandment in verse 18? Right? What was the commandment in verse 18? Let's read it again. Right? It says, unto whom he gave commandment, saying, Take ye the charge of this people, and see that ye make not war against the heathen until the time that we come again, because there was strength in numbers. They didn't, accept their lot, and know that even that within itself, it was a good work. Yeah, your name wasn't being called and there was no glorious battle, but it doesn't mean that their job was of less importance. Right? Verse 57 again, it says, Wherefore they said, Let us also get us a name, and go fight against the heathen that are round about us. So when they had given charge unto the garrison that was with them, they went towards Jamnia. Then came Gorgias and his men out of the city to fight against them, and so it was that Joseph and Azarias were put to flight and pursued unto the borders of Judea, giving up ground. They pretty much blemish the whole thing, causing trouble, unnecessary trouble, all out of what? Pride. Right? It says, and there were slain that day of the people of Israel about 2,000 men. Dwindling forces, causing havoc. Those are 2,000 men who did not have to die. That was a loss that was not necessary had they just followed the order. Right? Thus was there a great overthrow among the children of Israel, because they were not obedient unto Judas and his brethren, but thought to do some valiant act. And there's another account of somebody, killing and wanted to get a name for himself, and wanted to kill an elephant, which he did. But when he did kill the elephant, it actually fell upon him and crushed him, and he died. So how about that for making a name for yourself? Right? Many times in the scripture we see where making a name for yourself will cause a problem. Because guess what? That's about pride. That is not about Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi. That is not about the whole. It says, Moreover, these men came not of the seed of those by whose hand deliverance was given unto Israel. There are certain men, that are given a certain portion. And yes, they, you have, just like back then, you had major prophets and you have minor prophets. But nonetheless, they were all prophets. You hear about Jeremiah, Isaiah, Isaiah, Amos. Even some of them are minor prophets. Some prophets have God had big books or great books. You have other prophets had small books. But nonetheless, they were of our righteous forefathers. You right? So we should be careful, about trying to make a name for ourselves, whether it be indeed, among the camps, or even, on YouTube, here on YouTube doing your lessons, or, in the time to come when certain things will be done, we need to learn from now how to be content with our lot. Right? It says, Howbeit the man Judas and his brethren were greatly renowned in the sight of all Israel, and of all the heathen wheresoever their name was heard. So, them thinking it was Judas, they wouldn't run up on them like that. But because they knew that it wasn't Judas, their spirits were higher. Right? It says, In so much as the people assembled unto them with joyful acclamations. It says, Afterwards went Judas forth with his brethren, and fought against the children of Esau in the land towards the south, where he smote Hebron and the towns thereof, and pulled down the fortresses of it, and burn the towers they are found about. Now, I can continue. It says, from thence he removed to go into the land of the Philistines and passed through Samaria. Here's another point, verse 67. At that time, certain priests, desirous to shew their valor, were slain in battle, for they went out to fight unadvisedly. Don't go about doing your own thing. Don't go about in an unadvised or ill-advised manner. Sometimes, that spirit come off not wanting to ask counsel, because you feel like if you ask counsel, then, it might get shot down, and, the glory or the thing that you were to obtain or achieve unto your name, is then lost. Or sometimes you're told, you're given proper counsel, and it is ignored all out of this all due to the fact that you want to obtain or make some form obtain some form of vain glory, right? It says, so Judas turned to Astus in the land of the Philistines, and when he had pulled down their altars and burned their carved images with fire and spoiled their cities, he returned into the land of Judea. Because here's the thing, they were not fighting to get a name for themselves, even though fighting and winning would have given them glory. But they were fighting for the righteousness of Yahawashi, bahasham, Yahawashi. They were fighting for the laws and the heritage, and upholding the ways of righteousness. Establishing where people were being brought down, where people were being slain, where people were being trodden down, and they were actually delivering our people and helping to build back the nation. It was all their acts were about the whole and not about self. And this is where these men, fell off. So as more as we see brothers, growing in the spirit, and yes, you may see, other men that are high in the spirit doing certain things, doing certain levels on a certain level. That is their lot. You just try to grow in your lot as best as you can, because at the end of the day, the Lord has given every man, his measure. So, and if it's a case where you're not sure what your measure is, pray to Yahawashi, bahasham, Yahawashi, to give you the spirit to discern what it is and to build upon it, unto salvation. So with that, hope this was edifying. Once more, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahawashi, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Shalom to the brothers in the highways and byways, pushing this word in all sincerity and truth. The sisters, the believers, the helps, the hopeful elect. Shalom.